After I left my PopShift date, I just was like thinking about the whole experience.
And you just bursted laughing?
And I started laughing hysterically because I would think I was just being like kind of a handful with my date. And like she probably left.
That's not a good thing to say to your second date.
No, I know.
They see me dating, they hating.
So last date with Namita went really well. I thought she was really pretty, really cool people and everything. I don't know where it's gonna go after the show. I'm guessing like nothing too serious or like anything past the show at the moment, but maybe in the future, like who knows, we'll see. But I'm ready to meet somebody else and see how that goes.
Hi, my name is Sophia. I'm 23 years old and I am a cybersecurity specialist. You know, I feel like I've dated pretty much every different type of man and personality. I've come across, you know, all kind of the spectrum of it. I think the best word to describe my love life, I think in terms of this year, is extremely dormant. I think this is honestly my first date in about 2 years.
I'm hoping maybe like we're on a little bit more of like a similar level of maturity. Not that like Namita was way more mature than me or anything, but I think it was clear like she was pretty grown and like, you know, I'm still a little bit more childish, like playful. So maybe if this girl like, you know, is a little younger or like at least seems younger to me, then like maybe we can see the vibes.
I think what I'm hoping to get out of it is just an opportunity to open myself back up to dating. And I recognize in myself that I've pretty much, that door isn't closed, but it's definitely closed enough.
Are you 10? Wait, no. Are you from Tennessee?
No.
Because you're only 10 that I can't see right now.
I'll give you, that's a clap. That's actually
Right.
pretty, that's,
a little
you know,
creative spin on it.
we're creative, you're being in the moment. That's nice.
All right, bet.
3, 2, 1.
Hi.
Hello,
Sophia.
I'm Rishi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
She got a nice smile. I'm gonna say that.
You
For
look
sure.
good.
You too. Reeboks.
Well, okay, that was today.
No, I like Reeboks.
I left my Rookie of the Years at home.
Oh shit. All right, so our options, we got East India Gimlet
And Paloma.
and Paloma. What you thinking?
I'm leaning towards the gimlet.
The Gimlet?
Yeah.
All right, bet.
All right.
Let's do it, because
let's
they got
do it.
India in the name.
There
so.
we go. So we
got
gotta
to.
stay on brand.
Oh, now she's Pakistani though. Forgot about that. You sure you want to do that?
We were the same country once upon a time.
You're right.
What are your pet peeves?
One of my pet peeves is when people just aren't like straight up. And that's just like goes beyond like dating just in general. Like when
Right.
people just like are really fake and like artificial and just don't really want to be transparent with another person. That's probably one of my biggest pet peeves.
I think one of my biggest pet peeves are when people are rude to waitstaff and people in the
Wait, no, I
service
feel you.
industry.
I agree with that.
Like that tells a lot about someone.
That's fair.
Especially when you're on a date or going to grab dinner, and
yeah.
that to me is very important, because then if you're treating someone like that in
Right.
that way that you don't know, then it's like, all right, then how are you treating everybody else?
That makes
So,
complete sense. Put
you
the
want to
ice
add the
on.
ice? Yeah.
Here, I'll put the ice and you shake.
Perfect.
Seem like you like to shake.
Okay.
I have another question for you. What is the
What's up?
most brown thing about you?
I can tend to be a homebody, and when I'm a homebody, I really am an auntie. I will have on sweatpants and like a big shawl and my glasses, and I will just like,
Oh yeah. She's shaking it. She's shaking that thing.
I feel like there's so many things that constitute brown. Like I feel like, well, those are the two I think that like come to mind.
Yeah,
What
no,
about-
brownness
what
is a
about you?
complex term.
What about you?
I would say probably the most brown thing about me is I'm very like traditional and kind of like Bollywoody when it comes to like relationships.
Really?
And I think like my idea of love is just like grossly distorted because of that. And so I don't mean
so
that
you have a
in a-
very like filmy.
Yeah, I don't mean that in a positive
romance.
regard, like at all. Like it's so toxic, especially when you bring that into the West, where people see like love
Thank
as
you.
taking like an entirely different form.
Right.
But I think part of that process is realizing along the way that like the notions of love that we've, you know, incorporated from all these movies and stuff
Right.
isn't healthy. Raspberry East India Gimlet.
So let's
Should we give it a
see.
try?
Cheers.
Do it. Cheers. Yeah, that shit's pretty bad.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
whoa.
honest with you, that shit is pretty bad.
Okay. Well,
That's probably my fault.
you want to try it a little bit?
Yeah, let's add a little bit of mango.
You want to add? Okay.
A little mango never hurt nobody, man.
Yeah. Let's try that first.
All right, let's do it.
This is hilarious, is what this is. Cheers again.
It's like a little more bearable, I'm gonna be honest.
It's a little bit more bearable.
Like,
when I first took off my blindfolds, I think the first thing that I noticed was that he is my type. The hair, the kind of stubbly look, the height, like the way he was dressed, like I was like, oh, this is my type, like someone who would fall into that category.
All right, so I have a question. What is your relationship with your parents and how does it affect your romantic relationships?
So with my father, I actually don't have a relationship with him. I haven't had a relationship with him in about a year. And then with my mom, I actually am very fortunate that I have a good relationship with her. I think in terms of how does it affect my romantic relationships, my mom and I have this policy of don't ask, don't tell. So we kind of just employ that and let that be the case. But she also knows, like, we have an understanding that if there is something in my life, a romantic relationship in my life that I do see a future with and that it is long term, I would introduce her to that person. What about you?
I'm pretty close to my parents, like pretty good with both of them. I'm like very lucky, obviously, to have that sort of thing. Honestly, in terms of my romantic relationships, at this stage in my life, I just like don't really involve them much until like it would reach like a kind of serious stage where like they would need to be in the picture.
Right. What is a non-negotiable when looking for a partner?
She's got to listen to the same kind of music as me. That's like one thing that like I think is really important to me, but I never really like realize it.
Yeah.
Until I'm with a girl and then she wants to listen to like some country shit and I'm like, yeah, fuck this. Like I can't, there's just no way this is gonna work. Honestly, like the music I listen to kind of dictates a lot of like the tone of my life and like how I carry myself and like
100%.
what parts of pop culture I'm like most connected to. So that's something that like, I wouldn't say like non-negotiable, but like
it's a
like,
big sticking
pretty
point
important.
for you.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, interesting. I think for me, I think a non-negotiable would definitely have to be, you gotta have great humor. I think humor is a good thing, great thing for me, not good, great. But I think I've said this before, like you gotta have good banter. We gotta be able to have a good conversation, be able to, you know, laugh at similar jokes, mess around, you know, have that playful side of things. Because I feel like, you know, the serious stuff will always happen and will come. But I think when you have that playful side of things and actually go into that and have that, I feel like that's a very good, solid part of a larger foundation.
I agree, yeah.
Want to put some fun on top?
Yeah, a little fun.
A little fun? Can we just do that? I don't know. We'll see.
All right.
All right, ready?
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay,
right,
this is a lot better.
This is definitely better.
This is so much better.
Let's go.
Yay!
Success. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Good for us.
All right. Play rock, paper, scissors. Winner asks loser anything.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Ready?
How are we doing? Wait, best out of 3 or just 1?
We can do 2 out of 3.
All right.
All right, ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Damn it.
All right, I got 1.
Okay.
All right, I got you.
Okay.
Let's do it. All right. What is like the most attractive thing to you about a guy?
Confidence.
Confidence.
And if I could say another one, it's a emotional intelligence. Having a really good high EQ, I think with those 2 things combined, I think I find that to be the most, one of, if not the most attractive thing.
Would you change in order to fit into your partner's life?
Compromise is definitely something both people have to do. I think
that.
wholeheartedly changing who you are innately, that's very hard to do. Especially if you're wired that way, especially if like how you go about your life. But there's definitely going to be compromise. There has to be compromise in a relationship. So compromise, yes. Wholeheartedly changing something about a person, I think less so.
Yeah, I agree. I think like compromise will come naturally in a relationship as you guys like grow together and adapt to each other's like lifestyles. But if you're like intentionally changing a certain part about yourself, whether it's like religion or like just like the way you do things or like your practices or like, I think like that's just stupid. I think that's
no, I agree.
Like, so not love.
I 100% agree. And my whole thing too is yes, there's compromise, but also respect. What made you laugh really, that's an underline, hard recently?
Honestly, yesterday, after I left my PopShift date, I just was like thinking about the whole experience.
And you just bursted laughing?
And I started laughing hysterically because I would think I was just being like kind of a handful with my date. And like she probably
That's
left.
not a good thing to say to your
No,
second
I
date.
know.
We
We were sipping on wine, and I was just like throwing out some comments every now and then, like joking around with her.
Oh.
And I just started thinking, like, she's probably like, what the hell is wrong with this kid? Like, she probably left that shit like, I'm never gonna.
You
see her
realize
again.
you're not helping yourself here.
Bro, I'm just
Violate-
being real. I'm just being
Which
real.
I like, though.
I'm just being real.
And
yeah.
that's appreciated, but
Yeah.
okay.
That's just what I
But you
can
know
think
what?
of.
I respect it.
When
and
was
I
the last
appreciate
time
it.
you laughed? Really hard.
This was maybe 2 months ago. I have wooden stairs in my house, and I was wearing like warm, like fuzzy socks.
Yeah.
And I was the third step down from the floor, and I slipped. It's not
Wooden
a pattern.
stairs
I'm not
and
a klutz.
fuzzy sock. That's
I
a bad
landed
combo.
on my lower back on the edge, and then I braced myself with my elbows, and I land, and my mom is sitting on the couch, and she's like, "Are you okay?" Whatever, and I am hilarious. I'm just dying laughing.
So what I'm hearing is you have a history of falling on your back and then laughing hysterically.
It's just having hysterically. I think I just laugh to just not start bursting into tears.
Are you feeling better now, at least? Yeah?
That's been good, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I have one more. This is a good one. Okay, give your younger self a piece of advice. I'm gonna define younger as 10 years ago.
10 years
I'm
ago.
gonna take the liberty to do that.
Okay. I think the advice I'd give my younger self is to have fun. I know, your family environment and what's going on is making you have the mindset of being like 30 years old.
Right, yeah.
But be a kid.
Yeah,
Like, have fun.
absolutely.
You'll get it, and it'll be fine, and you're gonna be so proud of yourself. Just be a kid and have fun.
No, for sure, yeah.
I would say that. What about you?
That's a good one. I would say the person I was 10 years ago was very much like not a fan of like Indian culture or just like our background culturally.
Oh, interesting.
And
Okay.
so, because I grew up in like a pretty white area,
okay.
until college is when I wanted to like,
Interesting,
I cultivated like a genuine interest in getting in touch
That's
with it.
awesome. Yeah.
But that was like super late, and so I kind of felt like I was just like playing catch up because like all these kids had been doing like, all these girls like doing Bharatanatyam dance since they were like in like
And knowing all the
elementary
songs
school,
and the
like my
movies.
parents. I mean, like I knew all the movies because like I watched them, but like I know like my parents put me in dance class when I was like a little kid. But I quit that shit like right away, like within 2 weeks. And like the Hindi school and like Bal Vihar, all that. I quit that like right away. But then all the other kids, like they just stuck with it. And so just like,
Interesting.
it's like kind of like a more innate sense of being cultured. Whereas for me,
That's
it's like I'm
awesome.
kind of like playing catch up and like trying to get back to that. And like,
That's awesome, though. And I would say don't make it so that you're caught up. Make it so that, okay, at least I'm here.
Yeah, exactly.
My religion and cultural background are very much so intertwined.
Yeah, for sure.
And so there was a point where I kind of was just like, this isn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like and mind you, this was probably like high school. And then in college, that's where, and I credit, and I'm very grateful that I had the opportunity to live on my own in college for the last 3 years, and being by myself and learning more about me and the relationship with me. I got more in touch with my faith. I got more in touch with my background. Like I'm proud to be not just a Desi, I'm proud to be Pakistani, I'm proud to be a Muslim. And I love that, I can connect with another Desi and I can sometimes speak in certain, like I can say Batamiz or I can say like certain phrases and you'll know what I'm saying. Or like I can quote favorite Bollywood movies of mine and like suggest things and you'll be like, oh yeah, like we're into the culture, you're into the music, you're into the food. Like I think we have like the best cuisine I think is Desi food. Top tier is Desi food.
Hands down. I totally agree, yeah. If I didn't have Desi culture to like keep me grounded, bro, I don't know what I would do with myself, honestly. I'd have nothing to talk about.
It's such a strong root.
I totally agree.
Such a strong root.
For sure.
What do you miss about being single when you're in a relationship?
Well, I've been single for most of my life. I've only been in like 2 semi-short relationships. But I would say like when I'm in a relationship, one thing I miss is kind of the ability to like uninhibitedly focus on my like work, which sounds like very nerdy, honestly, but I'm the type that like when I get in a relationship, and it's something like obviously like I'm working on, but I get very like engrossed in it and very like kind of obsessive about it. And then I'm not able to like focus as much on my passion. But when I'm like single and just doing me, like just like go all in on my studies and just go hard and like be that crazy Indian.
Tunnel vision.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's tunnel vision. Like which isn't healthy, but at the end of the day, like
Like, yeah, it's like, I know, like by Western standards, it's super toxic. Like, oh, like you shouldn't just focus on your work. Like
Right.
work-life balance, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you know? And like, yeah, like I totally get that to an extent. And I think it's super healthy.
Yeah.
But like, part of me just like loves that like brown tendency to just like go like hard
The
at what you
hard
do and
adrenaline
like
into it.
be the
Oh,
best
yeah.
at what you do.
Coming from first generation and seeing how, at least in my case, you know, my parents, but also my Nani and Nana and my chachas and my pupos, like, you know, all of them ended up coming over here for the better life for their kids. You know, you want to not only aspire to that, but you want
Yeah.
to make sure you earn their respect.
That's what I'm saying, right? And I don't want to just
And be
stop.
proud of
I don't
them
want
for
to
that.
stop where they left off, like all the
Oh
hard
no, you
work
gotta,
they did
because then it's
immigrating.
gonna. To me,
Like-
then it feels like it's a sham.
Right, yeah. Like they came and did so much work to get here. I'm trying to take it here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then
Like,
continue to push the legacy
exactly.
forward.
I totally agree with you.
100%.
I totally agree. One more question I got is, what gives you the ick?
If I see how you treat your siblings, not your parents, yes, but your siblings, that's something big for me.
That's a great one. That's
It's how you
fantastic.
treat your
Yeah.
siblings. Yes, however your dynamic is, and you're just being like horrible to them, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a very big.
That makes how
That
you
makes
treat
me,
your
like,
yeah no.
cringe now
How you
just
treat your
saying it.
family is like super indicative of how you're gonna treat like a romantic partner at
Oh,
some
yeah.
point. Once like the passion fizzles out and you're like long term really in it, like that's you know,
100%.
like,
Yeah.
You don't want to
Even
have, like,
now
an
saying
asshole.
it gives me like, ugh. It
Yeah,
makes
no,
me just
I agree
go
with
like,
you.
ugh.
I agree with you. One thing that gives me the ick, and this is gonna sound like super toxic, but
No.
I'm just being honest,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
like when a girl gives me too much attention, like which I know that sounds like really bad.
No,
but,
no.
Like at first at least, like when you're
That's
kinda
knowing
like,
your boundaries. That's very different
Yeah,
than being like.
it's just like
too much. That's knowing your
psychologically, like
boundaries.
we always like to chase, but like for me, that's like a little hyperactive. Like I want to like change that. But like in like the initial talking stages with the girl, if like she's kind of like overbearing with it and just like really just, I can see like obviously if a girl's into me, like that's great. But if it's like we're clearly on different stages or
Paths,
different
yeah.
levels, and like she's just like really trying to see me, like really trying to talk to me all the time, text me nonstop.
Well, it's that, but I feel like we
I'm
all
like,
have lives.
Yeah, exactly.
We all have lives.
You gotta
but,
stay
like,
centered in yourself.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. It sounds a little toxic, but
No,
yeah.
it's-
You're framing it in a much healthier regard.
Because
so yeah,
that's
I'll
why.
take
Because
it
then I'm
for
trying
what
to
it
unframe the framing.
is. Yeah, no.
So.
Oh shit. That's deep. That's deep. I don't know, did you have a good time? Was it
Yeah,
all
I
right?
had a great
Good.
time. Did you have a nice time?
I did. That was fun.
Nice.
That was good combos.
That was a great combo. I think we had. Yeah, I think it was good.
Word.
Word.
Clearly, like Sophia is very into like her culture and is able to like, again, like throw in those like little Bollywood references or little like Hindi or Urdu things every now and then.
Yeah.
So for me, that's like super like amazing. Like I think that's like exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah, no, I had a great time, and I think, you know, one of the biggest things for me, and I think I had mentioned it in my pre-interview, was confidence and banter. And I think that that's something that, you know, and just talking to Rishi, seeing his confidence and seeing, you know, that we have that banter and we could have those conversations, I think that was really, it was refreshing, because I haven't had that in a while. But it was nice. I genuinely had a nice time.
These 2 dates have taught me a lot about myself and what I'm looking for, because again, like just creating this like fantasized version of like the brown girl in my head that like I can just meet and automatically get along with excellently and like just get married to and live out this fantasy with is clearly not how things work.
I thought it went well. It was actually better than I expected it to be. I think I would go on a second date with him. I think, you know, we had great conversation and there was a lot of mutual interest, and I would like to see how we are not in a setting where there's 7, 8+ people watching you.
In terms of like a second date, I'd have to think about it, but I don't think like I would be really interested, just because I think she's fantastic and like obviously pretty. Like I don't have to say that, you guys can see all that. She got it going on for her. But like personally, I could feel the maturity difference again.
As I mentioned before, I think maturity is such a big point for me, but I wouldn't say that that is a hard stop for me not wanting to go on a second date with him if we decided to do that.
I frankly should have like been expecting coming on the show as a 21-year-old. I don't know her age. I'm guessing she's like at least 24, 25, but she clearly like is in a much more like mature phase of her life and probably is looking for something more serious.
She just turned 23.
Oh, okay. So she's actually not that old. Shit, I mean, maybe, I don't know then. Shit, we're gonna have to see. She's like 23. All right, 23. Yeah, okay. The kind of banter was a bit different, and then Namita seemed a bit more receptive to my goofiness, and like just being around her made me want to be more goofy. Like I just felt like I was just trying to like mess around with her like nonstop. All that said, like I want to make sure it's clear here that I think she's like a fantastic girl. We had some really awesome combos, and like in another scenario, like I would be super down to like continue things with her.
They see me dating, they hating.
You know, hopefully tomorrow's date goes as well as this one, if not better, so we'll see.